It's Clobberin time!
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Clobberonimo!
Clobberonimo, yes indeed. Greetings, clobberers and clobberonimos, and clobberoids and clobberooskies, and all my clobbering buddies, all my clobbering friends are here on Monday night. Yes indeed, Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk, folks. Coming at you from the Baxter Building basement, which is secretly located on the Isle of Misfit Toys, and solely owned and operated by the Legion of Doom and the Kirby Commandos, as over which I, of course, preside as Supreme something I used to say on my old show. I thought I would try to drag it up, but it's not feeling it tonight. But I'll tell you what I am feeling. Feeling like talking to you all, my good buddies. Welcome to Clobberin Times issue number 515 on YouTube. 1,215 overall. And, of course, starting out the month of February. It's a shortened month, of course, but those who are fans of the character Superman may know that his actual comic book birthday is February the 29th, which means he doesn't have one this month, but doesn't matter whether he has one or not. I always, since I don't know, I've been doing my show for 14 years, and for the longest as I can remember, I've been celebrating, at least by doing a birthday celebration here and there. But I decided this year to make it special, to make it Superman month here on Clobberin Times, because I love the character. I mean, he's one of the, The Thing is my favorite character. The Batman Adam West TV show is how we're all here in the first place, because it's what first got me started. But Superman got them all started. He is the king. He is the king indeed. And I love him. And I'm going to celebrate him this month by doing various things, various topics and stuff. And I hear you there, Jay. I hear you there, man. And yep. Sorry, everybody. Got fighting through a weird toothache, but that's what would Superman do, right? So good to see you all, my friends. It was great to have you here tonight. Let's do some show notes before we start saying our hellos and shout outs and stuff. Let me see here. Upcoming to celebrate Superman, I got a lot of things planned. Like I said, tonight we're going to begin the Superman month by talking about Superman artists, my favorite Superman artists, and stuff like that. We're going to take it easy, kind of a kickback. But other things about Superman, other things may come up for sure. But in celebrating Superman month, we're going to do a few things. Of course, this Wednesday night, I'm going to talk about a couple of characters who are and are not Superman. The two characters, because we all know that if you're a comic book fan that loves Superman, you know that there are zillions of knockoffs, ciphers, pastiches or copies of the great character of Superman out there. I'm going to talk about the two that, in my opinion, are the very best, and that is Supreme, not that Rob Liefeld version of garbage, the Alan Moore version of Supreme, of course, and Kurt Busiek's Samaritan from his brilliant comic book Astro City. And so I'm going to talk about Supreme a lot and what a great comic that was in the 90s. And, so we're going to do that. But then next Monday night, I'm going to have another a double feature, another twofer. That's right, double Clobberin times at least once a month this year, because my great buddy J-Man is going to join me for another excursion into Earth 2. Yes, the wacky world of Bob Haney will be back next week at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for a special time and place. J-Man and I will review Brave and the Bold, number 150. A wacky world of Bob Haney presentation. And looks to be a lot of fun. Yes, we always love going to Earth B with my good buddy J-Man, so it's a lot of fun. Bob Haney has so much entertainment for us yet to explore on his wonderful world of Earth B. And then later that night, my second show of that evening, which will be at the regular time at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, my good buddy Carlos of Comics Mania, longtime friend, he and I will be doing a Clobby's Classic Comics review. So there are going to be 2 comics reviews that night. And we're going to review Superman Annual number 11 from, I believe, 1985 by the masterpiece by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, For the Man Who Has Everything. It is a true achievement. I'll never forget, and I'll talk about it more next week, of course, my experience when I first bought this comic. I was already an Alan Moore fan because of Swamp Thing. But man, oh man. And I love this comic. And so Carlos and I were both, a couple years back, Carlos and I did a show about the other works of Alan Moore, chronicling the works of Alan Moore, because he, whatever else he is, the guy did some brilliant work in the 80s and even in the 90s. So, and he did a lot of great stuff with Superman, later with Supreme, which was basically Superman. So, yeah. Looking forward to reviewing this puppy. It's been last year, Max von Priestley and I reviewed Alan Moore's brilliant swan song, no pun, to Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. And now it's time to review this masterpiece. Great comic. So that will be that. So here we are at Superman month, folks. Let's do some shout outs. As always, I'd like to shout my wrenchers here, whether they're here or not, just my good friends who are here or not. So just, because really appreciate all you do. Now, there's, of course, the great Eric K. The bronze wrencher, buddy. Appreciate you so much. Chris Berger, the indicator wrench of the North. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Thank you so much for all you do. The great D. Bud Martin, the wrench of iron. I keep saying it for years. I've said it, but it needs to happen. An Iron Man show. Just you and me talking some Iron Man. Doesn't have to be specific if you want. Needs to happen. Lord Thoth. Avon lives. Long live the Legion, buddy. And shout out God at Rev Wrenches to your wonderful Lady Thoth. That great J-Man himself. The Wrench Without Fear, and Partner in Crime on Earth B. Always just thrilled to have you here, buddy. Appreciate you so much. Let's see here. And of course, Hungry Boy, master of the Clobberin, and official artist of Clobberin Times. Cal L. Buddy, Stephen M. Super Wrench Extraordinaire, and Wielder of Wrench Mjolnir, who I had fun hanging out with last night on the great Mark D with the C's Geekery. Manny's Daddy. And of course, the Phantomy Outsidery. What's you, old rascal? I see you in there. Good to see you, buddy. Now I will back the chat up. Yes, Tuska time. We'll talk Tuska. I don't mind talking some Tuska with you there, brother. Let me back the chat up so I can say hello. The Thing was here. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if he's still here, but the Thing visited. Always great to have you pop in, my friend. Hail to you. I hope you are doing well. Even if he's not hearing me, got to shout him out. Thank you so much. Stuart Mitchell, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Let's see. Brian Hepburn. Hello, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Michael Carney. Hey there, Michael Carney. Good to see you, sir. Ironhide 84. Hello, Ironhide. Been a while there, buddy. Good to see you. Captain James T. Skywalker. Gwagnar, what's up, dude? And by the way, thank you, Michael Carney, for the member chat. Great to have you here. Matthew Pounder. What's up, Matthew? Hey, all right, buddy. Decepticon. Sean. Having some clicking trouble there. Sean, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, man. Long time no talk, sir. Here's a good piece of. Here's a good one. Name the best piece of Superman news from the last year. I'll work on that. I'm going to star your comment and see if I can think of something. You never know. I might think of something. Having some issues here. Got into comics and superheroes for Superman, the Christopher Rivera, and cartoons before I discovered the Adam West series. Oh, really, Sean? I hear you. Well, that's a great way to go in there, buddy. Hungry for a clubhouse secret handshake. Nice. Dave Redbarn. What's up, cousin? Dave, great born buddy. Let's see here. Hey, Courtney. What is up, my dear? Well, I'm glad you at least stopped by. I don't know if you already went out or not, but if you are hearing me, it is lovely to see you. And whatever you're up to out there, I hope you have a wonderful night. It's great to see you. Let's see if I got everybody. So far, I believe I'm caught up. And of course, I will accordingly shout out anybody who shows up. So yeah, just a lackadaisical start. We're just gonna, this is starting Superman. I'm gonna obviously we have these topics coming up, but for tonight, we're just basically just getting started. It's Superman month. This looks like a job for Superman. And we talk about him a lot. I love him. I love this character. So many people love this character. I'm as bad as things are for the character. I'll tell you one good thing there, Captain Skywalker, about the character of Superman. Larry, what's up, buddy? We have seemed to gotten past one kind of bad time for Superman that really, really agitated me throughout the 80s and the 90s, and that is this. You don't seem to hear as many people. Yes, movies have done bad things like the horrible Zack Snyder crap and things like that, but you don't hear as many people poo-pooing the Boy Scout element of Superman anymore. I mean, in fact, it's borne out that is what people want about Superman because, Man of Steel and these other terrible Snyder movies, I mean, they did not do well. And when you talk to normies, just normies, okay? I'm not talking about fanboys because they vary, but normies, for the most part, didn't like that take on Superman. They don't like that. But see, throughout the 80s, and look, I like a lot of what Frank Miller did, but what he did in Alan Moore, but especially Miller in this case, because Moore treated Superman when Moore wrote Superman, he wrote him with respect. Miller did not. The Dark Knight Returns, I hated the way Frank Miller wrote Superman in that comic. Hate it. It was terrible. I'm very critical of that comics. But that almost launched a subculture. Hey there, Minimus is there. It launched a subculture back then, if you remember, that when Frank Miller had made it cool to be the Batman badass character, and Superman was continually called a cornball and a Boy Scout. I can't tell you how many times some know-nothing would be when speaking about Superman in the press or somewhere, like they would be asked to put their 2 cents in about Superman and Batman. And so many of them would say, I never liked Superman. He was too powerful. Batman's so much better because he's cool and he doesn't have power. You know, shut the fucking... I hate... And I'm telling you, that lingered. A lot of that was Byrne, in my opinion, as well. I'm not going to get into Byrne tonight because I love... we love our memory of our good buddy Mark C. He loved Byrne. That's why I put a piece of Byrne art on there. I wouldn't have done it, but I put Byrne right under him. But all these jackasses trashing Superman over the years because he's a Boy Scout and he's not cool like Batman, that went on for 20-something years almost and it still went on with idiots like Hack Snyder. Hack Snyder, when he got the gig to direct a movie that ostensibly would contain Superman, what did he do? I just thought Superman was kind of a dork. No, you're the dork. Go back and read your stupid heavy metal comics. Yes, I hate the mullet as well, Matthew. I hear you, D-Bud. And absolutely, Z. So you know where I'm coming from, J-Man. And you all know, you all had to hear that kind of crap for years because when Batman became cool, you know, the Dark Knight, the Miller's Dark Knight, then the Michael Keaton movies and all these movies and stuff. Batman had this. And look, I love Batman, and I love the Dark Knight Detective Batman too. I mean, I see what you're saying, D-Bud, but I don't need him to be Adam West. I just don't need him to be upstaging Superman and him to be over the top grim to where it's not even enjoyable. The people who don't like Superman as much tend to not like sci-fi either, which requires imagination. Good one there, Hungry Boy. Yeah. So, look, and I always said this, though. Look, if Superman is not your bag, that's one thing. It's fine. I mean, if you arrive at that conclusion legitimately, he's just not the kind of character you care for, and you like Batman better, I don't have a problem with that. But people used to always have to, because Batman and Superman were the two big, the big guys, the two number one and the number two there, people always used to try to denigrate, uplift Batman by denigrating Superman, and that pissed me off. That pissed me the crap off big time. And I can't tell you how many jackasses I heard say that stuff. Ironhide. Yes, I remember what you're talking about, that stupid Big Barda story. Sean says the too powerful argument doesn't fly either, considering how powerful Hulk is, despite World Breaker. Yep, Hulk and other nonsense, and everyone loves Hulk. Yeah, it was just it was chic. It was cool to hate on Superman, but to lift up Batman by hating on Superman, because there were idiots that couldn't be a fan of both. I love them both. And that was also part of that era where jackasses at DC were purposely making Superman and Batman, trying to make them enemies all the time, which I hate. And so it used to piss me off. I started seeing that happen in the 80s and the 90s, and you'd hear these little hipsters and little shitheads all the time say stuff like, Superman's a big cornball. I don't like him. He's a dork. I like Batman. And I saw like a-holes making movies saying that crap. Remember that idiot William H. Macy? Good actor and all that stuff. He was in that movie Mystery Men, and he was interviewed about superheroes, and he started making fun of Superman. It's like, go screw. You don't know anything what you're talking about. Superman was a dork. No, just, when did it become funny? What's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way? As the title of that story was, later turned into Superman versus the Elite for a great animated movie. So I just couldn't stand it. It pissed me off. It was garbage. These people did not know what they were doing. But the thing is, after actually having that idiotic garbage shoved down their throat, in other words, that idiot that little punk that was saying that crap in the 80s and the 90s, he's the embodiment of that idiot who trashed Superman all the time and thought Batman was cool and Superman was a dork. He got a chance to make a movie. That's that guy. Just all of them wrapped into one, and his name was Hack Snyder. And the ultimate diss Superman to uplift Batman. That's the jackass named Hack Snyder. They gave him the budget to make the movie. He makes one. He doesn't even. They won't even call the movie Superman. Man of Steel is the title, and he makes that garbage. And there you go. For all you people who thought Superman wasn't cool, you had a movie made by a dickhead who didn't think Superman was cool. What did you think the result would be? Christopher Nolan, you idiot. What did you think was going to happen? Exactly, Fanny. Yeah. Indeed. Indeed, Larry. No problem there, Kal-El. Just looking at an excuse to denigrate what's popular and looking like they're interesting. Yeah, I mean, that was the little hipster little twerps that I used to talk to at comic shops, all the time. I would run into comic shops. I can't tell how many times in the 80s and the 90s I would run into some twerp. And I mean, it was, and of course, it wasn't just, like I said, it wasn't just there. It became the hip thing to do to diss on Superman. I like Batman better because he's human. He's not powerful. Shut up. Go, get out of here. Well, that guy, all those idiots got distilled into one, and it became Hack Snyder, and you got your shitty movies with exactly that, the way you think Superman should be. Idiots, morons, jerk-offs. And that's what happened. Thank you. Kal-El says, yeah, I didn't care for that characterization of Superman either. His importance was downplayed, and he was portrayed as a government stooge in Miller's. Yeah, Miller. Look, I hated his take on Superman. Sorry, hated it. Talking to hipsters as a retailer was slightly worse than signing copies for them. I hear you there. Decepticon says, dreading this James Gunn Superman coming up. We don't need smarmy, wisecracking Star-Lord Superman. Get ready for it, buddy. Hey, could not be reached for further comment. What's up? Says, I long for the days of true heroism. Superman embodies that. He's magnificent. Yes, thank you so much. Agreed. And I'm with you, Sean. Look, I have no confidence in Sean, in what's his face, James Gunn, or Sean Gunn for that matter. He'll probably be in it. His take on Superman's. I'll put it to you like this: it won't be. I don't think it will be as horrific as Snyder's. It'll go to the other extremes where Snyder tries to take it so much seriously that he sucked all the joy out of it. Gunn's going to try to put too much in there probably and make it smarmy and, like you said, and make it probably sleazy as well. He's going to add. I wouldn't be surprised if he were to, instead of like adding, depressing dark crap like Snyder, Gunn will try to add, sleazy, inappropriate crap. Maybe not. I'm just saying, I don't have any faith in him. I really don't. And, instead of, again, it'll be the completely the opposite, or the opposite extreme of Snyder. At least that's what it seems like to me. Maybe not. And that's not good either. See, people always say, well, you just don't like any dark stories. No. Superman can be in a dark story, just don't darken the character. That's what I'm talking about. These idiots, they're not trying to put Superman in a dark story, which would be perfectly fine as long as you don't go too off the deep end with it and make it where still kids can watch it. And that's important because if a Superman movie is not kid friendly, it's not a Superman movie. Sorry, sorry, edgelord jackasses. He's a children's character first. Most of us were introduced to him as children and as kids, and that's who he's marketed at. And when you make a movie with an ostensibly a Superman movie where an 8-year-old can't go, you are a freaking moron and a scumbag, in my opinion. Well, I mean, J-Man, he says, I don't think he will, but let's see. Yeah, I don't trust him either. I mean, he may not do it. He may not do it, but I don't trust him. That's all. I'm like you. I don't trust him. Thank you. If the entire family cannot go see a Superman movie, it's not Superman, period. Absolutely. Our late great friend, Mark C., whom this show on Monday nights is named after. I remember bumping to him right after Man of Steel came out and soiled screens in the theater, and his child was very young. And we started talking about the movie. Neither one of us liked it, of course. But he said, I went to see it before, hoping to see if it was okay to take my kid to see it. And he had the wherewithal to know that he wasn't sure because of the idiots making stuff. And when he went and saw the carp, he said, I couldn't bring my kid. And this kid was, I don't know. All I know is you could bring a 5-year-old to Christopher Reeve Superman film. You can bring a 5-year-old to that. But you sure shit can't bring. Hey, Apollome's Minion, what's up? Hey, my dear, I hope you and the pepperoni are doing great. So anyway, yes, but anyway, like I said, if you can't bring a kid to see a Superman movie, it's not a Superman movie. Pretty simple stuff to me. So James Gunn, I just don't have any. I don't have any faith in him. I thought I was embarrassed of myself. I didn't like the Suicide Squad that much, but I was kind of embarrassed of myself watching Peacemaker and laughing at some of it because I'm like, man, but I felt like I needed like 5 showers after every episode. I admitted it was kind of funny, but it really, I don't know, after about the 3rd or 4th episode, you'd seen everything. And it was just so predictable. Gunn is very predictable now. He's a one-trick pony. I don't know that he can make a straight-laced Superman movie with, sure, some humor and some fun. And look, it's not that he's not a smart guy. I do question it sometimes. Because sometimes when I hear him talk about comics or see an interview with him talking about comics, it doesn't seem like he knows a whole lot. I can tell you that. That's just a gut feeling. But we'll see. James C. Skywalker, to your question about any good Superman news lately, no, I don't think I can come up with any. Maybe there's got to be something out there. Yeah, Gunn has felt the same. And I like Slither, but, one-trick pony. Look, Guardians 3 might be good. Matthew Pounder, I love the Fleischer cartoons. Great stuff, man. Yeah, absolutely. Guardians 3 might be all right. But I just don't have a lot of faith other than that. Why should we? So let me take it before we start talking about some of these comic book artists. Let's take a look at my the poll we got going on. Okay, we got 26 votes so far. All right. Wow. That's why I love these polls. I'm always surprised. Question was, which of these 4 classic Superman artists do you like best? The choices were Joe Shuster, Kurt Swan, Neil Adams, and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. In first place is the aforementioned Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, artist of the style book. And that's with 42%, a whopping 42%. That's amazing to me. I don't get a vote, incidentally. Kurt Swan, the great Kurt Swan, coming in at 27%. And after that, Joe Shuster at 19%. And I'm shocked that all the way in the caboose, in last place so far, after 26 votes, Neil Adams with 12%. Wow, shocky McShockface. It's cool. It's cool. And so we'll just talk a little bit about Superman art. I don't know. Look, when I see modern Superman drawn by any of these modern artists, with especially with how horrible his costume is, it just makes me sick. It just makes me sick. I can't take it. Yeah, he didn't do a lot of interiors, absolutely. So, for me, of course, my favorite is no surprise. It's Kurt Swan. Whether he be inked by Murphy Anderson, I don't know, George Klein, Stan Kay, Al Plastino. I think maybe inked him a little bit. I think anyway. Frank Chiaramonte, for that matter, Tex Blaisdell. Obviously, there were differences and nuances to it, of course, but my favorite's always going to be Kurt Swan. He will always be my definitive Superman artist because I'm a silver Bronze Age baby. That's just me. And I mean, this guy was so prolific. He's the only guy out there that has more. I think by a slight margin has more interior page work than Kirby, and that's unreal. Always best when inked by Murphy Anderson, though. I mean, no question about that in my mind. But so inkers are different. Joe Johnson should have a hand in this new Superman movie. Rocketeer, Captain America. Yep. Rousing heroism. Yes, sir. Decepticon. That would be very nice. I wish they'd have hired him. I'll take it. I would take it. Hunger Boy says the inkers make a difference, but Swan looked great under most of them, and that says something. Al Williamson really inked him very well, too. I don't know if it was Minimus or someone telling me that Al Williamson was his favorite inker. Which was weird because when he got that career as an inker, Al Williamson wasn't known as an inker before that. He made a career for himself as an inker in the 80s. So, but yeah, Mr. Swan, he's one of the few I never got a chance to meet. Boy, I would have loved to have got a chance to get his autograph and meet him. When I think of comics, Superman comic book art, man, that's my definitive go-to. That's who I would have voted if I get a vote on my own poll, but I don't. Call Joe Johnston. I will call him. Hey, Joe, where are you? Joe. They don't want him. They don't want a guy like that anymore. Remember when he did Captain America, the First Avenger? That was before it was really all the I don't think Feige was in power at that point. Ironhide, that is correct. He did ink the Jungle Line. I think Rick Veitch or somebody did the pencils on that one, but Williamson did ink that one. Good call. Yeah, you are correct, sir. So yeah, for me it's Swan. But I'm not really going in any particular order. I'm just showing some of the greats. Joe Shuster, though, in my Hall of Fame as well. Just you don't even have to say anything. Joe Shuster is the man. He started it all. He pretty much designed the character. And I just, some people don't care much for the simplistic art style of the Golden Age. Dave, what's up, Dave? Good to see you, my friend. But I love it. So here we have Joe Shuster. He's getting some votes out there now. The co-creator. So that's very cool. Let's see here. Then there's Wayne Boring. Sometimes he was inked heavily by Stan K. Some people say, I've sometimes wondered if some of these aren't more like, you can tell they're inked by Stan K. I am Nomad. Well, that's a true statement. That is a true statement, Maddie's daddy, the creator. I am Nomad. Should always get his votes doubled, for without him, there is nothing to vote on. That is correct, sir. But people can pick their favorite anyway. But I love him. Love Joe Shuster. Then there's Neil Adams. And it's been rightly pointed out he didn't do a lot of interiors, but he still, man, his Superman image is just out of this world. And he drew him so well. What a great artist for a long time. So, and there was some I have here that I couldn't even put on that list because they only give you four in there. I did make a Nick Cardy one because he's another one that didn't do a lot of interior stuff. I mean, he did some Ironhide, but I have a couple on here. There were a couple of Nick Cardys that got through. I love him now. I agree with that, Steve. Swan by Boring. And here's another guy that didn't do a lot of interiors, but yet he drew Superman all over the place. And, of course, it's George Perez. And he drew them all over the place. It just didn't do the regular titles. I'm talking about before Screw 52 trash, by the way, before somebody chimes in with that. Oh, yeah, I love Nick Cardy now. George, man, Neil and George, like in the span of 2 weeks. Is that something? Comics, Comics entire took a hit. Captain Infinity, you're referring. Hey, good to see you, buddy. You're referring to Jim Steranko. He did a great. No, I'm sorry. That was that a Sienkiewicz cover? No, Cheeky. That's Cheeky guy. That's right. I forgot it was that. I thought it was Steranko from it. Kidding. Steranko did the double. It's that Cheeky guy. Listen, what's his name again? Cheeky McCowardy. What's his name again? Captain Infinity. I'm drawing a blank on it. Was it Cheeky? Mixterenko, Sienkiewicz, Flowery. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's Coward Haken. Is that right? That's it. Coward Haken. Hey! Okay, what's up, buddy? Good to see you there, bro. Always great to see you, my friend. Joe Shuster is Canada's claim to Superman. True. Born in Toronto. Yeah, also true. He based Metropolis on his hometown and based the Daily Planet on the Toronto Star. The planet was even called the Star early on. That is all correct, my friend. Well said. Thank you, thank you, Decepticon. Dad man, what's up, buddy? Dad man walking. Yeah, I believe it was Shaky Howard Coward, something. I can't. The name I don't know, man. Finity, I can't remember the guy's name for the life of me. He did some comic called American Skag or something, I think, didn't he? Yeah. Or Black Piss, or I don't know. Yeah. He was real short dude. Little short dude that almost got us pounded into the ground. But I spared him. And of course, you got the greats. Ole, 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 Jose, Jose, Jose. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. This man could have as many names as he wants. This is tip of the iceberg Lopez, Garcia Lopez, I guess being his last name. Just fantastic. The guy who drew the DC style book. Oh my goodness, I normally can't talk, but tonight I'm really messed up. That's because I didn't get to eat all of my jambalaya before I started. I got a bowl of jambalaya here. I haven't finished yet. Yeah, but I love Lopez. Again, another situation here, though, Hungry Boy. Lopez didn't do a lot of Superman interiors or a lot of interiors at all when you really think about it. They did a couple of books that compiled all of his Superman stories, and they weren't that many. A few, but not that many. But still, I mean, he was just such a great cover artist. Oh, and they're coming out with a compilation of his Batman stories, at least. Oh man, don't tempt me. I might eat some more of it while I'm doing the show. That's true. He did the first couple of DC Comics Presents. My buddy J-Man collects DC Comics Presents. We need to do a show about that soon. Flash, Adam Strange. Oh, they are great. I love Lopez. Gil Kane. Unconventional to some. He was really, by the time he started doing Superman on a regular, in the interiors even, it was a very specialized style to some. I mean, I loved it though. I guess he was inking himself. And Claude Bears is correct. Steranko did Batman. Lopez did Batman versus Hulk, which J-Man and I reviewed last summer. I gotta say, I didn't really hate the Brainiac redesign that Wolfman kind of took credit for, that Gil Kane did. Ironhide, but I got used to it. It's better than Burns garbage, but it took getting used to. I mean, it made an interesting toy, didn't it? But I didn't mind it too much. It was all right. Is right. And lastly, again, he didn't do a lot of interiors, but Alex Ross did some nice Superman work. And I'm not counting him as amongst the great Superman artists, but I do like a lot of the work he did that was, nice pictures. Let's take a look at the poll. 38 votes in now, folks. Whoa. Man, oh man, I'm shocked that Kurt's making a stride now, though. In first place is Jose Luis Garcia Lopez at 35%. In second place, coming up from behind, only a couple of links back now, is Kurt Swan, the all-time great, the one I would have voted for if I got a vote, at 29%. And in way a little bit behind him there, a good 10 rungs behind, Neil Adams at 19%, and the creator, as in co-creator, Joe Shuster, back at 16% in fourth place. Oh my goodness. This race is not over yet, folks. 31 votes. Thought it was more than that. Oh well. We'll get more. We'll get more votes. Sorry, Thor. Decepticon says Jose Luis Garcia Lopez did an incredible job on Superman 301. I love that one with Solomon Grundy. Superman's fight with Grundy is mesmerizing and epic with large panels and fun bottom up, top down angles. Dynamic stuff. That was that was the best looking Superman fighting the Hulk comic you're ever going to see. And I'm including the Steve Rude one, which was fine, but you know. And I know it was Grundy, not Hulk. You know what I mean? Oh, my goodness. Venomous has a couple of original Garcia Lopez original art. Holy crapple nuts. So yeah, he was great. So I don't know. Like I said, what'd I do? Crapola. For me, Kurt will always be king. I know I'm biased. I mean, he drew him as Superboy. He drew him as Superman. He drew him for longer than anybody by far. And it's not even close. I mean, he started drawing him in the 50s and drew him into the 90s. With some stoppages here and there, mind you. But, yeah, that's the... It's so funny. We live in, I was talking at the outset about all these movies and all this crap. It just kind of, everyone has their own image of Superman when they think of him. For example, people who don't really read a lot of comics, to this day, even though I do love that when a lot of the normies think of Superman, they still think of Christopher Reeve. Yeah, I mean, there are a few people that, Henry Cavill, nothing against him. I mean, he's a good actor. It's too bad he got stuck in movies where he didn't get the chance to play Superman. Got garbage movies. But it's funny how, for me personally, as someone who loves Christopher Reeve, when I'm being honest, I only like his first movie. I only love his first movie. I hate Superman 2. Both the Lester cut and the Donner cut I have issues with, but Superman 3, I mean, let's just be honest. Superman 3 is a bad movie. It's bad. Let's just be honest. It's still, look, I can watch it because, Reeve's great, but it's just bad. Superman 4 is even worse, probably. And that's saying something. I'm not sure. I vacillate between which is worse, 3 or 4. It's tough. But I think I hate 2 more than both of them because it was more potential to be good. I mean, if you look at the premises of 3 and 4, they're bad anyway. They were built on bad foundations. 2 was built on a great one, and they just pissed it away. Most people don't feel that way. Most people love Superman 2. Fine. I just know me. That's all I'm saying. I only choose for me. And then when I went to the theater as a, what was I? I guess about a 17-year-old kid who was waiting. At that point, The two, I mean, Superman the movie, when I went to see like 18 something times in 78/79, I there was nothing in life I looked forward to more than seeing Superman 2. And it's almost as if, let's say, all right, you got Donner making the first one. There was some goofy crap in the first one with Otis and stuff, but for the most part, it wasn't over the top. And then you get Richard Lester. It's almost like James Gunn directed Superman 2. Because there's a lot of goofy shit in there. Christopher Kalel says, Christopher Reeve in Superman, the movie, was my first exposure to the character of Superman. Wow. Before I ever picked up and read a Superman comic. Well, that's a great way to get exposed, buddy. I've been reading Bronze Age Superman lately, says Decepticon. Cool. Was Vartox based on Sean Connery from Zardoz? Yes, he was. The answer is yes. Visually, the visual look, yes. They look really similar, and Zardoz and Superman 281 debuted the same year. That is correct. That is exactly what he's based on. Well, I'll put it to you like this, Sean. According to the Answer Man and according to a few other people in interviews I've read over the years, they said they based his look on Zardoz. Loki says, without Superman 3, we never get Annette O'Toole in Smallville. And I'll deal with Richard Pryor so we can get that Lana Lang and Martha Kent. Well, I mean, I love Annette O'Toole, but I don't give a crap about Smallville, so it didn't bother me. But I hear you. I hear you, buddy. D-Bud says the first Superman comic I ever bought was Action Comics 363, when Luthor infects him with a virus X. It took me several years to read the end of the story in Action 364 and 365. Wow. Coolness. Kal-El says Superman 4: The Quest for Peace is the quest for a better movie. I thought I almost misread you and said is a better movie, but I think you're saying the quest for a better movie. Well, they're gonna have to keep on looking. Ironheart said, Clubby, did you read the Superboy miniseries from 1985 where he goes to college, kind of like the TV show from 1985? You're not talking about the Secret Years with the Miller covers and the Swan insides? Are you talking about Superman the Secret Years? They all had Frank Miller covers, but they had Kurt Swan inside. Yeah, I did. It's been a long time. Yes. I don't think I have it anymore, though. I need to reread that now that you mention it. But it's weird about, again, but they just, let Byrne dump all over all that the year later. They let Byrne dump all over the freaking thing. And then DC, that's true. DC did a comic based on the Superboy TV show, yeah. But I even bought some of that. I like the third season of that TV show. But yeah. Look. So, but I guess what I was getting at earlier was, the general public, for the most part, still thinks, certainly in certain age groups, still thinks of Christopher Reeve as Superman. I love him. He was the first, he wasn't the first guy I ever saw play him, though, because I saw George Reeves before him. But I love Christopher Reeve. But still, when I think about Superman, and look, my first exposure to Superman was the Lou Scheimer Filmation cartoon. And then my book, Superman from the 30s to the 70s. And then Super Friends. And George Reeves, all around that time. George Reeves reruns, I guess. And then Superboy and comics and stuff. But still, when I think of Superman, I think of a comic book character. Pleasant Valley Picker, what's up, dude? That's what he is to me. Sean says, I acknowledge Superman 3 or 4 are bad, but I still love them. I had a Superman themed birthday party the year 3 came out, and was Superman than Halloween. It was Supermania, a big part of my show. Oh, look, I don't blame you, dude. And again, as crappy as those movies are, you know what? Christopher Reeve is still great, and you were how old did you were very young. I don't know how old you were, but see, even at a very young age, forget whether those movies are good or bad. You can still bring a kid to see them. So they're Superman movies, for better or worse, and you can still bring children to see the movies because that's what Superman's got to be. It's got to be for everybody. I mean, how pathetic do you have to be to even consider making a movie ostensibly about Superman? Now, granted, they didn't put his name in the title, fortunately, but it's supposed they're calling that in the movie like 2 whole times. But how do you do that? How do you make that and not make it kid friendly? I mean, what is sick in the head is what you are, Warner. And we didn't even get the benefit. I always say this too. See, I'll say the same thing about Batman. I don't really like I always call the Batman live action movies Batman for dummies. Like the Nolan movies. I thought Batman Begins was okay. It's all right, I guess. I thought The Dark Knight, it's okay. I hated Dark Knight Retires. But nevertheless, even still, those movies aren't for kids. Which is still a damn shame. Now, they're not like horrific, but they're still not for kids. They're still too violent for kids. But one benefit we got out of that, because I still don't approve of it, but when in 2008, when the Dark Knight was looming, I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't privy to what went on in behind the scenes of the people, the Maroons at Warner Brothers. But apparently, while that movie was being made, a good while before it was being made, because animation takes a long time, someone said, we can't really market. You got this movie coming out. Basically, it's a sequel to Batman Begins, guys, and we can't market Batman to little kids with those movies. So they got a couple of guys named James Tucker and Michael Jelenic and some others. And they said, look, we need to sell Batman toys, baby cakes. I mean, on the Cartoon Network, we need to sell Batman toys. So you need to make a kiddie Batman show. And these two guys said, sure, guys, sure, whatever. Because I've seen them talk about in interviews how they would meet with toy companies all the time. They had to meet with the toy companies, and they didn't give a crap about whether Batman Brave and the Bold was any good or not. They just wanted to sell toys. But these guys loved Batman and comics, and they made a wonderful show like Batman the Brave and the Bold. So Warner's own idiocy about making Batman movies that weren't kid friendly, it did make them a lot of money. So they that's all that matters to them. I know. It gave us at least something as wonderful as Batman Brave and the Bold. So just imagine if in 2013, the same jackasses who mind-bogglingly green light, first of all, they hired Christopher Nolan to make a Superman movie. The idiots that let Zack Snyder make a Superman movie. If they had said, well, guys, that really ain't, we're not going to do much with the kiddies there. And they got the same. What if they got Tucker and Jelenic? That's like a bit of dream of mine. If they gotten those guys because it was right around after Batman Brave and the Bold, unfortunately got canceled after only 65 wonderful episodes. They at least if they'd come along and said, you guys, you know what you did with that Batman Brave and the whatever? Could you do that with Superman? Same deal. Just he's got to be meeting other superheroes, and we got to make some toys. Just imagine if they'd done a Superman version of Batman Brave and the Bold. They could have called it DC Comics Presents, which was Superman's team-up title. It works. The title works. And it would have been Superman in a similar vein the way Batman was on that show, teaming up with a different hero each time. Do the same type of structure, just Soup's another hero. How, I mean, and if we'd have just got 65 out of that, how fantastic, man, how great would that have been? Am I the only one that would love to have seen that? Because of that, I had the stupidest idea that there were two different Batmans. The good one wore gray and blue, and the evil one dressed in all black. I hear you, Ironhide. Gray and blue, gray and blue. The man from Gotham wore the gray and blue. Decepticon says you can bring kids to Superman 3, even though he gets drunk and dangerous, and it's implied that Superman slept with the blonde in the Statue of Liberty. Went over my head, though. Yeah, and that was a little inappropriate, but you could, like you said, see, you can bring kids to that because they don't know what's going on. So you could bring kids. I probably wouldn't have put that in that movie, but I hear you. That is a good point. Steven says, true, but I remember being scared as a kid of the scene where one of the female villains was sucked into the supercomputer and turned into a mind. Yeah, well, that was scary. Yeah, scary for a kid. Brian Upper says The Brave and the Bold is a great series. I was skeptical initially coming off of TAS and Batman and Beyond, but Brave and the Bold is an awesome show all around. My kids loved it too. I was very skeptical going in. I was like, I don't know, man. I was pretty skeptical too. I admit it. I was like, I don't know about all this. It looks kind of, I mean, it looks, and it is for kids, but in the best kind of way. It was, I mean, when I started watching it, I'm like, wow, this is not written down to kids. It's written by guys who know comics and love comics. And, my goodness, it was so much fun. Yeah. So, well, what are you going to do? What can you do? We're never going to see the likes of that. Remember the first couple of years of Batman Brave and the Bold, they couldn't really have Superman on there because Superman was going through all kind of license problems. And the big fight with the Siegel family, I think. Decepticon says Batman violates Superman is by far the most baffling big studio movie to me. Superman frying people in chains, innocent people blowing up with Superman present, a jar of urine. Who was that made for? It was made for Snyder and his little edgelord idiots, his cultists. It was made for the violence worshiping idiots who love that kind of crap. And I mean, I remember, after Man of Steel came out, Sean. No, and before it even. I mean, right after it. I mean, before it too, they were saying stuff like this, but right after it, I remember on some of the I was going through a lot. I was going through a lot of fights with a lot of people. I was very active on the internet because I was getting attacked all over the place. And I remember coming across some I don't know what kind of feed it was, some kind of message board or what have you, where I saw more than a few idiots saying, oh my, actually before they came out to the movie, they were saying stuff like, all I want to do is see Superman punch things. All I want to do is see Superman punching things. That's what they said. Because, and look, Hack Snyder, what he made was just a disaster porn. That's all it was. Hey, Grim, good to see you. And then later, I saw them talking about how happy they were because of all the violence and all the destruction and Superman just having a fight. That's all they wanted to see was a fight. So, okay. If that does it for you, look, I mean, by the way, we're all, as comics fans, it's fun to watch superheroes have big fights. They look pretty cool in the Avengers we all like that. I want to see Superman slug it out too. I just don't want to see him doing, not doing his job, which as Superman, which is rescuing people. I don't want to see him endangering people and causing deaths. It's cool to see him fight. Yeah, sure. But that's all these idiots wanted. The cultists. So you guys got your wish, and nobody really, and the movie just kind of underperformed. It limped through box office. And then you get, like I always say about Bull versus Shite, a movie, theoretically speaking, Hack Snyder did kind of pull off something remarkable when you think about it. He managed to make a movie with the two of the biggest names in fiction of all time, throughout human existence, certainly over the past 80 years, two of the most famous names in all of fiction. Put them in a movie together. Theoretically speaking, you should have been able to make a movie with Batman and Superman in it, with them playing tiddlywinks for 2 hours and trip over $1 billion. And he couldn't even do that. I mean, you should make because, and I always talk about, I've said this a million times. I was working in a place with about 100 or so people, a big plant, a plant. And I was the only people always asking questions about different stuff, especially if it was comic related movies or science fiction or whatever. And when the ads started trickling out here and there into the press about a movie called Batman versus Superman, Batman versus Superman, I can't tell you how many people would walk up to me in casual conversation. Hey, what is Batman? Why is it called Batman versus Superman? Why are they fighting? I thought they were both good guys. Look, they're normies. They don't know. They said, is it the same one as that dumb thing I saw last time? Because the few who did see Man of Steel were like, because that wasn't very good. They're going to do that again? These are normies. They don't care the way we do. But they weren't intrigued that they would be fighting. They were kind of like, I thought Batman and Superman are good guys. Why are they fighting? And I would always answer them, and they don't really understand the answer I would give them. I tried to get, I just said, because the director's an idiot. I mean, because he is. They're morons. They don't understand the characters. I don't know what to tell you other than morons are making this movie. Morons with no respect for the character. Kal-El says, exactly. I just don't want to see Superman, say, throwing Kryptonians into buildings with vulnerable humans inside. Just exactly. The director's a pea-brain jackass who has no respect for the Superman's values. See, Superman is values, not he's not powers. The powers, we've seen that you can create any old doofus of a character with superpowers. It's the man on the inside, but no. Not when you're raised by Pa Costner, conspiracy kook Pa Kent in that universe, and lets his father die in a cartoon tornado. Granted, I would have probably let Costner get sucked up by a cartoon tornado, but that's just me. I'm not Superman. He is. So anyway, but Superman deserves better. I don't think we're going to get it about a James Gunn. And that name, am I the only one that thinks that the word legacy is kind of disturbing on that title? It's called Superman Legacy. Why don't you just call it Superman? Technically speaking, has not been a movie that was just called Superman yet. Well, don't be too sad about it, Steve. I hear what you're saying, but this is just a strictly one whose art you like the best. In other words, if it's if the question was who's the most important, then I wouldn't even make a poll of that, because only a fool would think there's any more important artist to Superman than Joe Shuster, because there's not one. That's like saying, again, you could like, for example, you could like Burns' Fantastic Four art better than Kirby's, which is all fine and good. But the question, the question is, if the question is who's more important, that's not even a contest. It's always the creator. So I hear you, buddy. But then again, yeah, I mean, because I got to admit, if I got to vote, I would be voting for Swan. But I love Joe Shuster. So it's definitely not meant to disrespect Shuster. I guess I could have kept him off of there and put somebody else, maybe, so that wouldn't be such a choice to be made. Also, I don't need Superman doing a Scott Summers losing control. Save that for an X-Men film. The worst part is he told the people to get inside before that happened because it wasn't safe. Why? For target practice. Oh, yeah. Hello there, Oliver Belamonte says, I wish Christopher Reeve and Michael Keaton could have had a world's finest movie way back in the late 80s. They could have gone up against Hackman's Luther and Nicholson's Joker. Well, that would have been fun. That would have been fun. I mean, it wouldn't have been that far out of the realm of possibility because Reeve was still, I mean, it wasn't just a few years before Keaton's Batman that he played Superman in a movie. So, Donnie Pearson, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. So I certainly see where you're coming from there, Oliver. But let's face it. I'm going to ask for predictions right now. All right, and well, let's see. I'll do that in a minute. Let me see what Sean has going on. Snyder didn't understand Superman. No, he didn't. Never did. He didn't care either. Clark grew up on Earth. He's culturally human and specifically American. It's the immigrant story. Why would he struggle with what side he's on in Man of Steel? Well, again, true. David S. Goyer's stupid ass was also part of that. That he's the guy who wrote Superman renouncing his citizenship in the comics because he's an idiot. Anyway, where were I? Remember when the Avengers, the heroes, took time to save people when the city around them being obliterated? Zack Snyder doesn't. It's funny you mentioned that, Ironhide, because say what you want about Joss Whedon, and we do say what we want about him frequently. But Joss Whedon was one of the ones that was critical of Man of Steel, saying that superheroes are supposed to save people. Well, whether you like Avengers Age of Ultron or not, and I say that because I know a lot of people don't. I loved it. But some people don't, which is fine. I loved it. And in that movie, Whedon, and I don't know if it was in response to Man of Steel or what, it wasn't too long after it. Whedon goes out of his way to show the Avengers all throughout the fight with Ultron, and even before that, the whole movie, rescuing people, doing superhero things. Which is key to a superhero. That's what superheroes are supposed to do. Yes, they fight, they make mistakes, they make messes, but they save people. They save people. And when you make a Superman movie, for example, all right, in Man of Steel, Superman, let's see here. You can count here how many, when he's Clark on that oil rig at the beginning, after the 2-hour beginning on Pandora, or Krypton Pandora, whatever. He saves the guy on the oil rig. Good. When he's young Clark, he saves the kids on the bus. And then later, Paul Kent says he maybe shouldn't have done that, which is ridiculous and horrible. Good night, Decepticon. Have a good one, buddy. Always great to have you here, buddy. But when he's in the shitty blue body condoms of a Superman costume that I hate so much, he doesn't save anybody other than like this one scene where I think he stops I think he saves a soldier from a helicopter falling out. But then the rest of the time, he's just punching people into buildings and causing all this destruction when it did nothing to stop it. They didn't even try. And it's funny. He'll let all that destruction happen. But when a family is threatened, he can't find any creative way to stop Zod except by breaking his neck. And then he got all way. Remember that stupid scene after he murders Zod, which by the way Christopher Nolan was against, and that idiot Dan Didio and a couple of other people like Snyder talked him into it. Nolan didn't like it. Anyway, because Nolan didn't even let Batman kill in his movies, if you'll remember. Batman doesn't kill the Joker. Batman tells Catwoman that Batman and Dark Knight retires, we don't kill. But bloodthirsty Snyder bitch allows Superman to break Zod's neck, and then he goes, ah! He's screaming that he had to kill a guy. Well, wait a minute, dude. What are you screaming about? You've been punching people into buildings for hours. You have to know people were getting slaughtered because of you. That's pretty good. Ironhide said, say what you want about Lou Reed and his music. There was an interview with him where he said he longed for the days when Superman was helping little girls get their cats off of trees. Yep. Haven't I told you to stop telling lies? Yeah. So he doesn't act like Superman. Superman is a hero that saves people, that cares about people. James Gunn, here's the game I want to play, everybody. Since James Gunn is a goofball, okay, he might do a good movie. I'm just saying, look, we're going to give him a shot. I mean, we don't have any choice. I already don't like it because, as much as I hate the Snyder movies, I think Henry Cavill should have given another shot at it, but let's just forget about that for a moment. Because it'd been a shame he never got a chance to play Superman. It's a damn shame because he looks like he could do it. But they're going to go young, and boy, the casting scares me. But anyway, which really obscure, really off the wall DC, Superman rogues gallery villain do you think he's going to put in there? Anybody got any guesses? Anybody have any guesses? Just curious. Larry said Clobby needs to debate Fatal J about Hack Snyder. Fatal J, I think I know Fatal. Does he hang out at Tom's? I think he was on with us Tom one night. He seems like a nice dude. I didn't know if he's a Snyder guy or not, but yeah, I look at it this way. I have done a lot of interest in debating it. I was gonna say Terra Man. I really no big need to debate it with anybody. It's kind of pointless. But if he's a nice dude who's a good person, just disagrees, yellow period. Jesus. Terra Man, oh my goodness. That's who I want to see in a movie, but that's the kind of one James Gunn would probably put him in there. Mr. Mix Pitalik. Then you got to make him say kill Tip Zixon. Mr. Mix Pitalik. Who will tell dirty limericks? Yeah, probably. Puzzler or prankster, maybe. Toy Man and prankster. Brainiac. See, we'd like it'd be in a good movie. It would be cool to use Brainiac, but I don't think they know how to make one. So you got. I would not put it past them to put Terra Man in there, at least for a second. Yep. I'm dreading Mr. Mix Pitalik says Hungry Boy because Gunn would make him pervy. So yeah, of course. Parasite would be a good one for sure. Toy Man says, which Toy Man too? Would it be the stupid? I can't stand the stupid Howdy Doody Toy Man. I hate that one. I mean, he's silly anyway, but that's just creepy. I remember that when Jeff Johns, I didn't really like a lot of his Superman comic of the early 2000s, but he did a crazy one that was kind of interesting about all the different versions of Toy Man, and there's some disturbing versions of Toy Man. I'm like, what in the hell came up with all these other crappy versions when I wasn't looking? Atomic Small, yeah, Comic Skull would be, yeah. Again, another vote for Terra Man there. Oh, he'd have the Pegasus and all. If Gunn had a brain, he'd use Metallo. I mean, and again, and he would probably use the burn Metallo, but so just like I guess the animated series kind of did that as well. Yep, Metallo, sure. Incredible Superman villain. You could Parasite. He was showing, by the way, All-Star Superman artwork on his presentation about Superman, the Frank Quitely cover to #1, and he's calling it Superman Legacy. Well, I don't want to spoiler anybody, but you all know what happens to Superman in All-Star, and I love All-Star Superman, but you all know what happens to him in that, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just saying. I don't know. Not hopeful about it, but it's going to be a while. Actually, 2025, right? I think the interesting thing will be the casting back in 2011-ish or whatever it was when Henry Cavill was announced for Man of Steel. Everyone thought, no, everyone thought it's a British dude, but everyone thought, hey, he looks like he looks like he can do it. He was never a problem for me. It wasn't him. That is for sure. Maddie's Daddy Snyder is Superman's greatest villain, and now he's an effectual. But yeah, I don't know. Legacy, huh? Maybe it will not mean what we think it means. Maybe it'll have a different meaning. All right, let's take a look at the poll. We're going to let it run a little bit longer, but we have how many votes do we have in now? We have 41 votes so far. All right. That's our poll. That question was, whoa, oh my goodness. What happened? Did we turn the tide, Steve? Maddie's Daddy, look at this, dude. With 41 votes in, the question, of course, was which of these 4 classic Superman artists do you like best? At #1 now, barely in first place, continuing to hold the lead, is Jose Luis Garcia Lopez at 29%. But the guy, the caboose, the guy was always all the way in the back for the longest time. The co-creator, Joe Shuster's now in second place at 27%. You did it, Steve. I don't know how you did it, buddy, but you did it. And there's a tie for third place between my favorite, the great Kurt Swan and the great Neil Adams. Wow. How did you do that? Maddie's Daddy? Man, you influenced the vote somehow. What a push that is. He might even end up winning this one. Oliver says, Clobby, it's about time Brainiac should appear in the Superman films. Yeah. Yet, should Brainiac be a humanoid robot or an AI cold cyber armor villain? You know what? It's too late. They'll never go back to the green Koluan Brainiac. So he's gonna. I almost like to see that. And Gunn he's the one weirdo that might do it if they. I would not. As much as I don't have confidence in him, I do. You could trust him to do something weird sometimes. If anyone would ever bring the green Koluan looking Brainiac back, it would be him, and I don't think he will. So it's probably going to be, the AI thing. I hope it would be like the Gil Kane redesign of the '80s, the big, the big head, the big skull thing with the, the metallic thing. Personally, and again, I always get in trouble for this. even though I later warmed up to Superman the Animated Series, I have a lot of problems with it because and one of my biggest problems was it's because of how they depowered him too much. I still love the show, but it took me a long time. I'll tell you that story in a minute. But I hated that they made Brainiac. Still hate it. I like the show, but I still hate that they made Brainiac a Kryptonian computer. He was Jor-El's computer in the animated series. That pissed me off. It still pisses me off. Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? I remember when they first ran the first episode of that, and I was looking forward to it because, of course, I love Batman the Animated Series. And from get-go, it rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is Brainiac Jor-El's computer? Are you who? What? Shut up. No. I still hate it. Like the show, but I hate that. You're allowed to dislike elements of something that you even like. And then, of course, Superman was such a wimp on that show. Even Alex Ross had to say something to. I remember Alex Ross, who's Wienerhead on some things, but he does like a lot of the same stuff we like. He even said something to Bruce Timm one time about, man, why does Superman get his ass handed to him by everybody? And it's not like he didn't like the cartoon, but he was just like, Jesus, dude. I mean, look, I love the Fleischer cartoons too. So does, but Danny and Tim are obsessed with him. And the Fleischer cartoons, he didn't have any like villains not, to fight. So, and he still got popped around a lot. He got knocked around a lot, but his power set wasn't the same. Well, they just had him getting his ass handed to him and he would, he's always getting hurt. Superman is nowhere near invulnerable on that show. He was practically an invalid sometimes. It had good stories, great voices. I love it. Finally, for many years, because it pissed me off so much, I didn't go watch it that much. I watched a few and didn't watch them. I did not watch them all the way through. And then I watched, of course, the Justice League show and loved it. That took me kicking, screaming to that one because Bruce Timm said a lot of stupid crap, and I don't like the fact that it didn't have Hal Jordan, but I watched it. Anyway, on my show about 6-7 years ago now, my two friends that I was doing the show with, we talk about it, and they said, you need to go watch them all, because I've watched some of them. And I was like, I don't know. I don't like wimpy John Byrne-ish Superman. And that's what he was they kind of did a lot of John Byrne crap that I hate, because you all know I hate the John Byrne reboot. I'm that guy. I'm wonderful. Our great buddy who this show was named after, Mark C., and I have had it out on it. We've argued with it. He loves it. I hate it, but that's cool. We're at peace. We were always at peace about it, but I hate it, and I hated what they did in the animated series, and it made me prejudiced toward the show. But we said, they wanted me to watch it, so I did. I went and I binged it, and I loved it. Still love it to this day. It's just it took a long time to me and it still had things that made me cringe. It took a long time for me to put up, because I grew up with a Silver and Bronze Age Superman that wasn't an invalid and getting his ass kicked by little girls like Livewire and who's that other bitch that kicked his ass? I forget the name of the woman who kicked it. A couple of different. Put it this way: everybody whipped his ass. He got his ass bounced around so much on that cartoon. Alex Ross was right about that. He says, "Man, I'm tired of seeing Superman get his butt kicked in every episode." Good show, had problems. That's all I'm saying. And it's yeah. And I might go back and start rewatching them again. It's been a while. Great. I love that theme music. But I hate Brainiac being a Garam Kryptonian computer. That said, that's probably what Gunn would do. He would probably bring him back, or he would probably have Brainiac be that one. I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't. But so Oliver, long way of answering you there. I think you should use Brainiac, and they probably should just make him look like the one from the 80s. The pre-burn Wolfman Kane redesign. But we'll see. I mean, I'd like to see that. That's assuming the movie's any good at all. Here's the thing, as I kind of touched on this earlier, we've got to see what the casting is like. I mean, when they cast Henry Cavill, I mean, I still didn't want it because it was Zack Snyder, but I'm like, he's fine, whatever. this is different. This is 2023, not 2013, and not 2011 when they cast it. So this is 2023. I don't think the casting is what will worry me. You liked Silver Banshee, did you? That's a weird one. Why do you like her? I mean, nothing wrong with that. I guess not that there's anything wrong with that, but he'll probably make back the Circus Mind Reader version. Oh my God, John Byrne. Yeah, John Byrne, a man. What a creator that guy is. What a creative genius, turning Brainiac 5 into a circus mentalist. I mean, when he did that, turning Brainiac into that, made me want to throw up. Anyway, so neither here nor there. All right, so his casting will tell us everything we need to know. I'm going to scratch that. Got to be fair. His casting will go a long way. In other words, if the casting of Superman is decent, like an unknown, but you see the guy, you go, we don't really know much about him, but he looks the part. I can see him looking, maybe he'll be good, maybe he won't. We'll see. Because you never know, especially if he's an unknown, and he should be. If we see him and he looks like a little, I'm not talking about how Christopher Reeve was a kind of a skinny dude and he had to bulk up for the part. I'm not talking about that. If we see the guy and he looks absolutely no way you're going to ever believe that guy is Superman, then we're in trouble. There was a couple of years ago, there was one of the DC animated films, which have been ruined for me ever since I started doing Flashpoint and Screw 52 trash. Just me. Called Superman Man of Tomorrow. And I watched it, though, because it was on the HBO Maxi or whatever. Maxi pads. And Superman looks like a total gimp. I mean, he is a most soy looking. I mean, he had the right costume. But it was yet another interpretation of how he just got started as Superman. Maybe they should have called him Super something else. I mean, it was Brainiac, I think. Wasn't Brainiac in that one? I can't remember. It was crapola. And then when he was in that stupid JSA cartoon that came out a couple of years ago, he kind of looked like it was that version. And our buddy Lord Thoth, excuse me, you all know what a Legion of Superheroes fan I am. Well, there's a new ostensibly Legion of Superheroes straight to DVD movie that just came out. And our buddy and Wrench Lord Thoth, who's a huge Legion fan, warned me off of it like the plague. He watched it the other day, and LT says, so fair warning to you all out there in case you were thinking about watching this new Legion of Superheroes cartoon animated movie. He says it is absolute shiita, garbagey. It's Garbaggio crap, according to LT, and I believe him. I trust him on Legion. So he said, don't watch it unless you want to get really pissed off. He knows me too well. So yeah, I'm gonna have to watch out for that. I mean, not watch it. I'm gonna have to not watch it. He said, what did he say? I'm trying to think. I was trying to find what he told me about it. Thought he sent me something telling me about it. Could have swore he wrote me. Anyway, he did, but I can't find it. Put it this way. Oh, Oliver says it was a delight that actress Sarah Douglas not only played Ursula Faora in the Superman films, but she also voiced Mala in the Superman animated series. Absolute Power was the name of the episode. I met her at Dragon Con one year. She was pretty cool. Very nice. Maybe Gunn will use her. She's a messed up supernatural character. Oh, you mean Silver Banshee? Oh, you never know. You might. Gunn will probably finally cast Nicolas Cage as Superman, fulfilling a dark prophecy. Well, you know what, Cal? Wouldn't put it past him, buddy. Iron says, and it'll probably be something like Superman is a retired deadbeat superhero and needs to get back in action to prove himself or deal with the new kids. Basically, comedy kingdom come. I would not put that past. I would not put that past James Gunn. I don't know if what's the dude Zasloff, would put up with that. I mean, in other words, I don't think he could get away with too much in the crazy realm with Superman. I mean, some other characters, yeah, but I have to wonder. Like, for example, Ironhide, if James Gunn, I wouldn't put it past James Gunn to want to do something like that. He's that much of a jackass. But if James Gunn tried to sell that to Mr. Zasloff, I have to think he would say, are you out of your ever-loving mind? He doesn't know anything about Superman, but I think he knows he doesn't want to see that done to Superman. I don't know. Hey, look, like I said, I would not put it past James Gunn to want to do that. But I don't know if the gentleman, Mr. Zasloff, I don't know. Maybe he's nutty too. I don't know if he would let that happen to Superman. My movie might suck, but I don't think if he comes with him and says, "Look, Superman in my movie, Superman's old and he's like a deadbeat and a jerk and all this, like the premise you're talking about there, like a comedy kingdom come." I don't think that he'd be able to sell that. Could be wrong. Been wrong before, but you know what? You just never know. It may not happen, hungry boy. That's actually where Superman and Lois is headed. Apparently, is that where Stephen? What are you talking about? Or I'm not sure what you're referring to, Stephen, but I don't. I had to give up on Steve. I'm the only one. I didn't get into Superman and Lois that much. A lot of people liked it. I think we're so down in the gutter now that when we see something where Superman isn't being completely horribly disrespected, we chalk it up as a win. And he's not being really trash. I just don't really like the take on him. Zachariah, what's up, buddy? I watched the first 5 or 6 episodes of Superman and Lois. I mean, Tyler's okay, I guess. I love the opening with the Golden Age costume, but we didn't get that long enough. You know, that was a cute scene. It was nice and all. And then later, as much as I hate the costume, it wasn't like I was able to live with watching it because we know, you know. And I just don't like. I never really liked him being married to Lois. I know that's old school for a lot of you people, but I just never liked it. But him having kids with Lois and is being like a CW. It's still got a lot of CW crap in it. But the thing I hated the most about it, I'm so sick to freaking death of evil Superman crap. I can't stand it. And yeah, it was this stuff with John Henry Irons coming over from our dimension to kill Superman because in his dimension Superman goes evil. All that crap with I hated the crap with Laura's ex-husband, his mother's wife, his mother's ex-husband, and his stupid brother, Morgan Edge crap. I hate all of it, man. I don't mind working steel in there somehow, but not like that. So the fact that, the Superman going evil crap trope, it just makes me sick, man. I hate it every time I see it. It's been done to death. It was never in Elseworld stuff. If you want to do that crap, go ahead, knock yourself out. I freaking can't stand it, though. And the Super Brats, yeah, I mean, the CW, I mean, they didn't take over the show as much. Nothing against, I just don't really care, man. I don't care about that. Him being in a family, it's just, no, I don't think Superman needs a family. I mean, I know he needs to be Superman for a while. Just make a Superman show. We can't have that. Like I said, it's not terrible. I don't think it's terrible. It's just not good. Not what I saw. So I think I saw him almost the whole first season, and then I remember I would keep forgetting that it was on, and someone would mention the latest episodes of Superman and Lois, and I go, oh, that's on again. I thought it was like on hiatus. I always thought it was on hiatus, even when it wasn't. Then I go back and I would, well, let me watch a couple of these things, and then watch them. And for about 10, it was like 5 minutes of cool Superman bits, and the rest is filler crap, and I don't like the story. And people like it. I mean, people are so excited about it because it's not horrible. It's not doing all of the usual CW shite. I'll give you that. I mean, it's there, but you still got the kid stuff. It's just a story I don't really care about. It's not as bad as like Batwoman and that kind of crap. I understand that. I didn't really hate it. I just like, yeah, if I just got to be meh about it, I don't really need it that bad. I can watch old stuff that's way better. I don't watch a lot of new stuff. I admit it, but I can watch. If I want to see Superman, I can watch other things. This is not really. I mean, that kid's okay. Tyler, I mean, he's fine. I mean, I don't really think, I don't see that guy and go, Superman. Cal says, after watching season 2 of Superman and Lois, let's just say that they're taking a page, a whole storyline from Bendis of the current comics. Oh, well, there's a deal breaker right there, dude. If you'd said something like, look, they're doing some stuff that I saw in some old Alan Moore comics, I'll be like, really? Why did I check that out? No. Bendis? Brian Michael Bendis? You're kidding me. Is he writing it, or are they just copying his crap? Oh my God, there's some comic book quote unquote writers now. It's tough to pick a worse one. The only reason I can't pick Tom King as the worst because, quite frankly, I've never read any crap by him. I've only ever talked to people who told me the things he's written. I will never read Bendis. I've read some of his trash, and I won't read any of it ever again. But I don't need to because someone will tell me. You can look at it and goes, well, this story's about. Someone will tell you what the story's about. I'm like, thank you. I don't need it. Brian Michael Bendis's Legion is. I couldn't even look at it, and I asked friends who have read it. LT's read it. I think LT still reads it. I think it's trash beyond belief. So there's certain people that are canceled. If their name's on it, I ain't touching it. I don't need it. I mean, and Tom Queen, that's another thing. Tom Queen is going to be in the writer's room with James Gunn. With a bunch of other dumbasses. I don't care how good Drew Goddard was on Daredevil. Him being in there is not going to matter much. With considering who some of the other names are going to be in the writer's room with James Gunn. So, but if you're telling he's copying Bendis, that's all. Thank you, buddy, for the time saver. But in that stupid ass Legion cartoon film that I was telling you about that LT told me about, he just said he said it would piss me off too much, and he knows me. He knows how I'm about Legion, so he said it pissed him off. He said it was garbage. And that's all one needs to know. That's all the news is fit to print about that. Now, I am probably stupid enough that if I'm sitting around bored and it happens to pop up on HBO Max one day, I might sit through it. But boy, it looks. But the art again, the animation, the art looks like shite. Ironhide says, I unfortunately read Tom Queen's Mr. Miracle. It's a really weird story with some weird AF humor. Plus, scot-free, like most Tom Queen written heroes, is an emasculated soy boy. There's a shocker for you. Like he did to Batman. Kal-El says, I'm not sure if Bendis had anything to do with it, but it's now truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. They can go eat a bunch of donkeys. Screw them. I won't spoil the other thing in case there are those who haven't seen it. You can spoil it here if you want to, buddy. I mean, that's nice of you to do that, but you can tell me. I won't care, but I guess maybe somebody else will. Anybody don't want to get spoiled by was it season 2 of Super Lois and Soy Man? Well, there's Donnie's all set for season 3, so there you go. He likes it. There you go. Yes, the key phrase is for now. I hope I'm wrong, but okay, but I doubt. Yeah, I got you. Couldn't get past the first issue. Blanked it out. Matthew, you talking about that Legion thing or what? All right, Matty's daddy. Good to see you there, buddy. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you. Oh, cripes. Yeah. Now, let's check the poll. I'm not going to close it until we get out of here, but 44 votes. Whoa. Oh my God, it's a dead heat. At 44 votes now, Joe Shuster, the co-creator, and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez are now in a dead heat at 27%. And in the dead heat for second place, the great Kurt Swan and the great Neil Adams neck and neck at 23%. Oh, my. I did not expect this. These polls are always highly competitive. You did it, Maddie. Maddie's daddy. I mean, you definitely, I mean, wow, I am absolutely, because it was way, way back there. Some respect for the creator. Way it should be. Again, like I said, it's not anyone can be your favorite. But I mean, just like on this collage alone, for example, you got some Lopez, you've got some Ross, you've got some Perez, you've got some Adams, some Swan, some more Swan, go Lopez. You got some Steve Rude. You got some Byrne from that's. I hate Byrne Superman, but that's a tribute to our beloved long lost buddy Mark C. He loved him, so that's there for him. Anything for a pal. You've got some Starlin even. More Swan over here. You've got the Superboy model. Ross again. Filmation. More Lopez. Wayne Boring. That artist from that old 66 comic. One of those, I mean, that's a retro comic. It's not, don't worry, it's not all red, but I forget that dude's name. Sugrel. More Adams. A Batman Brave and the Bold. Yet more Garcia Lopez. And more Steve Rude over here. Could not be reached for further comment. Asks, how much influence did Goddard have? He's credited with creating DD. Wrote the first two episodes, but then his name never appears again as far as writing. To me, he's another Abrams stooge. Yeah, good point. Claude Salling, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. So that is a good point there. So yeah, I mean, I was just saying that Drew Goddard's name was on the first season of Daredevil, but I don't know much about him other than that. I love the first season and the second season. Third season has issues, but still no Aldred. Sorry, Aldred does a good Silver Age knock of soup though. So I don't know. Could not be reached for comment. That is a good question. So yeah, he's no one to get excited about either. Really, none of them are. If they're not writers, quote unquote writers, they're subservient to Gunn anyway. But Gunn was raving about crappy Tom Queen comics, so they look horrendous, and friends tell me are horrendous, and I'll have to take their word for it because. Well, how do you know you didn't read it? How do you know it's horrendous? You know what? Because maybe you're right. Maybe I should read it. but I'm not going to. So, I should. You're right, but I'm not going to. Actually, I shouldn't. Yeah. No one should. I mean, unless you need to review something, why bother? Donnie Pearson says Superman 3 was an inspiration for the Borg in Star Trek. So there you go. I believe there were a lot of inspirations for the Borg in Star Trek that they kind of stole from. I'm not. Superman 3 came out in 1983. They took that from a lot of stuff, though. I mean, there were a lot. Yeah, the Borg have similarities to the Daleks and Cybermen and Cyberpunk and Cylons and a lot of other things. And so I imagine, look, there's no way that, of course, a lot of things predate Superman 3 anyway. And Superman 3 writers were morons. David and Leslie Newman and Richard Lester were absolute morons. Believe me, they didn't write anything original. And they made Robert Vaughn look bad. And Richard Pryor. So, and Christopher Reeve, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm afraid that it was nice try. Nice try, Donnie. I see what you're trying to do there. What am I looking for? Where? Who? Where am I? The henchman and Captain EO, even the Supreme Leader resembles the later Borg Queen. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Telos Mundas, indeed. References to the Tomb of the Cybermen and the 10th Planet. Some classic Doctor Who references there, buddy. And I gotta find out something to start binging again. I just, as you all know, we're reviewing Deep Space Nine on Saturday Night Star Trek. But I just went because I needed something to watch. After the four episodes we watch each week, I gotta find something else to watch, and there's no new stuff I care about. So I went and binge watched Enterprise again for the zillionth time. I'm one of those few people that love it, and it went by fast. I just got to the end, and now I'm like, I'm missing it already. I was enjoying that. Should have slowed down. I got to slow down my binging. So it's time to find something else. It'll be maybe a cartoon. Binge a cartoon. Because I'm that young. I'm like a child. I got to have me a cartoon to watch. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Now, we're going to close up in a second here, folks. Let you guys go because we're coming close to the 2-hour mark. Sorry I missed that one. I was just too tired that day. I'll be back with season 5 onwards, though. Oh, yeah, I understand. No big deal. We start this week. Good night, Ironhide. Take care, buddy. Binge 60s Johnny Quest. I need to get that Blu-ray of that. I know there's a Blu-ray out there. I love Johnny's Quest. I haven't seen that in a little bit, but I've seen it a number of times. I don't know what I will binge. I'm the kind. I binge shit that I've already watched a million times. I'm more happy. I do like the ones. Like for example, a couple of months back, I had never watched all of Eureka, just bits and pieces. So I binged it all and enjoyed the hell out of it. And was binging something I hadn't seen much. I'd only seen a handful of episodes, so it was new and fresh. Love it. Then I binged Warehouse 13. Again, I'd only seen 1 or 2. So I had a great time. All right, Oliver. Thank you, Oliver. Had a great time binging because it was something I hadn't seen. And so I liked that. A couple of years ago, I did that with Farscape for the first time. But I kind of like it's even something that I've watched many times. I kind of like doing it with older stuff that has already seen a bunch that I love. But I can also do the picking and choosing. Like I get in a Doctor Who mood, and I'll just watch a bunch of Doctor Who's. You don't have to go in any particular order, at least not with the original series as much, which I do a lot. Star Trek, like Raquel does the linear thing with Star Trek. I don't like. You don't have, well, especially with the original series, you don't have to do that. What's that? Oh, yeah, I loved Warehouse 13, man. That was sad when that was over. There wasn't enough of it. I have a complaint here and there, an issue here and there, a criticism here and there, but I really loved it. A lot of fun. That's a great show, man. They're talking about bringing it back and doing some kind of reunion thing. I hope they don't in this day and age. But so, yeah, I like going back and watching stuff I've watched 50 times. But I do once in a while go watch something that's older that passed me by. There's just not too many. There aren't too many of those things out there, you know. So I don't know what I'll do next. Enterprise is like 98 episodes. I'm holy crap! It feels like I started doing it like last week. It could have been just a couple of weeks, and I just burned through them. I've watched that a ton. That's something I've watched a bunch. Again, I can watch a random episode of that. This time I binged it. Other times, if I just get in the mood to watch the Enterprise, boom, I'll throw it on there. Get in the mood to watch. I used to do it even with Deep Space Nine. Now that we're viewing it differently because we have to binge it, but I'll just throw on an episode here and there that I like out of random. And of course, original series all the time. I get in a Trek mood, boom, watch a Trek. Hey, Mark D with a CC. You have carte blanche if you feel like it, but if not, no biggie. Although you should be, everyone give him chin kicks for telling me I got to watch Stargirl. But, you know, I don't know. I got to think of something. Binging Warzel Gummidge. Oh, you got Warzel Gummidge. You have that? Wow. John Pertwee. Where'd you find that, Matthew? Oh, you're across the pond, aren't you? You ponder. Well, poop. Hey, Gwagnar. That's right. That's what I need. Oh, man. You know what? Yes. $6 Million Man. I think it's on Tubi. You got to sit through commercials. I've been watching some Rockfords on there a while back, and then watching some Batman episodes, too. Kind of, and some Buck Rogers. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
All right.
Projects to finish, so I was listening and lurking.
My apologies.
I live in a chapter. Once you start engaging, then which is a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
you get your work done.
No, I hear you.
I did come on though.
Huh? I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm barely hearing you.
Oh,
cutting in and out.
Can't hear me?
No, I can. So yeah, I can't. I don't know what to do. Oh, you got it on Blu-ray. Okay, well there you go. I don't know. I don't think I ever got to see that. We never got that over here back then. Matthew, only heard about it.
Never heard it.
Heard
about it, or no, never heard about it.
Heard about it, but never got to see it. You know, John Pertwee's show he did. Late, I think he did it after Doctor Who, didn't he?
I wonder if that's on BBC America.
Nah. You mean BritBox or something? I don't think so.
BritBox, yeah.
Currently watching
BritBox, I guess, yeah.
Max Headroom. Wow, where are you watching that on, Brian? I need to watch $6 Million Man. That's a good call. I might drag up some of those. I don't know where.
I just saw on Twitter that was the anniversary of Andre the Giant playing Bigfoot. God, that was a huge episode as a kid, that Bigfoot episode.
Oh, God, yeah. We were all nuts about that.
Yeah.
Where are you watching $6 Million Man at, Gwagnar? I mean, on which service? Does Tubi have that one? Tubi has a lot of good stuff. I was watching Buck Rogers on there. I mean, you got a commercial, you know, but here and there, but they had to put up with that for Warehouse 13. You know, it's free. So, I mean,
yeah, it's not so bad, right?
Yeah, I can live with it. It was cute.
I know you're thinking getting out of here, but I did get my new comic book.
What you got? You got comics? Okay.
Yeah, so I could show that.
Well, we'll be shirking on responsibility as comics talk. We'll be shirking our responsibility as comics talk if we didn't cover that.
Right? Yep. So let me get my camera set up. I'm going to switch to my headset mic.
Don't know if that. You guys can still hear me, I guess, right? Yep.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Let's see what new junk Mark got. There was actually one good item, though. There's some good item.
Blu-ray. Gotcha. All right, everybody. This is a bonus round now. Before we get out of here, Mark has some new comics for us to make fun of.
Yep. There we go. Let me get the camera.
DVDs for Max Headroom. And he has the Blu-rays for 6 $3 Man, Bionic Woman. Good transfers. Well, excellent.
Okay, so this was good. Well, I haven't read it. I just got it today. But I'm assuming that's. Have you read this yet? You got your copy, right?
And what if number 2's coming out this week?
So is
Number
that
2's coming out soon?
So how was that? Was that good or was it?
Yeah, it was pretty good so far. Yeah, it was
pretty good. Okay, I'll have to
good
read
art
that tonight. So we got that, and then
you know, as much as it pains me to admit a Marvel comic is good.
Actually, all right. So we got that.
I like to think of it as not a Marvel comic.
Yeah,
Paul Levitz wrote it. That,
retro.
however, I can't vouch for.
Yeah, I don't know. Revealed.
Been reading? You read that, or you just buy them?
I just bought this one, because I've been getting Avengers. So here we got Thor, Thanos Part 2, and he's got his I can't stand that costume, but that's the Herald of Galactus costume.
Indeed, a hungry boy. Very. I like Alan. I like Alan Davis, and does have kind of a John Buscema feel to it. There's your favorite, and there's your favorite, John Romita Jr.
Junior, yep. How could you tell that was his art?
Yeah, how could you? What the hell is he fighting? The
Some
green
kinda,
lobster?
It's not a rock lobster. It's a green crab thingy. See what happens when you don't eat your sea bugs?
Yeah.
Or is that some kind of spider monster? I don't know. Either spider monster or crab.
It's green.
Detective Comics.
Oh, boy.
I guess it's all right. Not particularly like, oh, yeah, I got to buy this, but I've seen worse. I guess my standards are getting lower.
True.
So.
Keely Chow. What's up, dude? Roll Tide.
Hey, Keely. And then we got our first supersized issue.
My eyes are bleeding.
Action Comics 1051. Got lots of new Supermans here.
Who did that? Is that that's not a John Romita Jr. cover, is it?
And bonus Lois and Clark
Superman's
number 2.
face looks really bad.
Power Girl's in it. Power Girl Reborn.
Where? That's her at the top?
No, that looks like it can't be Power Girl. It looks like some kind of robot.
Oh.
It says that on the.
Oh, okay.
You want me to pop? I could pop it open.
Nah.
No.
Not unless you feel like it. Don't matter to me. You want to get in trouble.
Well, if you show a couple.
Supersized.
If you show a couple issues, you can't get in trouble.
Lois and Clark. 2. Lois and Clark 2. Electric Boogaloo.
They had some of the old comics I showed you last time mixed up in the stash. So, here, what else did we get here? I think I showed this last time, but yeah, I did show that last time.
Another issue of Avengers.
Yeah, so let me take this stack down. And this we showed last week.
Yeah,
so that's kind of
interesting cover.
Yeah. I think let's see, because I mixed up my to read pile. That's the old Spidey. Yeah, we did show this stuff last time. So, but the one I finally scored a super valuable issue for my collection. I finally got Hulk number 1.
Yay! It's not a facsimile at all.
It is,
I remember because comics were $3.99 back in 1962.
Man, you figured that out real quick. I mean, look, I was gonna get this bag and
they had barcodes too.
And barcodes.
Still, the rest of it's cool though because it is a facsimile. It's got it's a nice copy. It's got everything in there. I like those facsimile books.
Yes, I don't
That's
have to mess up.
$4. Right, that's $4. Pretty cool book. And look at the inside. He's actually gray.
Yeah, and I don't have to mess up my my real copy of Hulk #1 to read it.
See if they actually
Okay,
followed.
wait. Let's
See if
see.
they actually did the facsimile and made him gray inside like he's supposed to be.
Let's see. Let's see. I hate this, the tape
So
on
I
the
remember when I
bag.
got, the Fireside reprint of that book, of that issue, back in the 70s. It has that cover with he's gray on the cover, but he's green inside.
Oh, they recolored it?
Mm-hmm.
Because wasn't it a printer error the first issue?
No,
It was supposed to be gray the whole time. It was gray the whole time.
they just decided to change it. Well, there are a lot of arguments about what really happened. So it's not a clear record because it's coming from Stan Lee's pie hole.
Well, look,
In
but
fact,
it says by Jack Kirby right there in the top.
That says Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Actually says Stan Lee and Jay Kirby, right?
Yeah.
But I had this. Remember that stupid ass last episode of the Fox Spider-Man cartoon when Spider-Man went to get Stan Lee, and he walks into his office and you can hear he's going to see him and hears Stan talking on the phone going, "So I said to Jack, why don't we make him green?" And then he interrupts like, "Oh, shut up." But see, I have one of my Fireside reprint that I first got the story on. They went and colored him green in there.
Oh, he's gray.
And then, like I said, about 10, 12 years ago, whatever, one of my cousins discovered #1 in their closet with some other stuff, and it was in pretty good shape, and asked me to look at it for him and grade it for him. And it had been so long since I've seen one of those opened. And every time I seen plenty of reprints of it, I'd seen reprints of it, but I hadn't seen the open one up. Like I think I only saw one open up once, maybe a long time ago. Before that, because it's an expensive book. And I open it, go, wait a minute, he's gray in here. That's right. Holy shit!
It is actually a legitimate #1, right?
And it's a facsimile.
Ooh, learn radio, television, electronics. Practicing at home in your spare time. I love the old ads. Yep.
Yeah, he said the printer's got it wrong. But look, he's green back there. Look how he's green later.
Yeah.
And then he's not.
Green. And then he's not, right? So that's that was what happened in the original, right?
Yeah.
So that was a printer screw up there.
They kept saying it was a printer screw up, but then, like I said, he's got that stupid thing. Like, I said to Jack, why don't we make him green?
Yeah. Well, the green is very cool, I have to say. Yeah. As much as I do like Joe Fixit, but.
So it probably really was. I always thought it was just a printer screw up.
So you think that it was actually total printer screw up? That's
green. Yeah.
The whole time, yeah.
I mean, that's the way I always believed it. He said that because but like I said, and only because I think Jack said that. That's the only reason why I believe it.
Yeah. Well, it's easy enough to screw up with the print. Yeah, see, look, he's green here. I mean, you could argue that's a shadow,
It's like a shadow thing.
Shadow thingy, but he's clearly green. He's clearly green there.
All right, D-Bud, have a good one, buddy. Take care, man. Feel better.
So, and it's nice. God, this is such a clean book. It looks better than the original book with the paper. Yeah,
I love them. They're very cool.
I hear they're outselling some of the current day.
Too glossy. Listen to you old
hungry boy. I can't see the chat, but
hungry boy. I like glossy. I don't mind. I like that. I just kind of think it's kind of cool. These facsimiles. He wants newsprint. He wants it to rub off on his fingertips. Thing is, you would not open this up if you had the real copy.
Yeah,
it'd be ridiculous to flip through that.
But I mean, if they had this paper back then, they would have used this paper. I mean, it's just. I understand. I mean, I understand. The beauty of the old, old school. But yeah, it's. See here, the Hulk was always green. Look, see.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Where'd my She-Hulk go? Did she
Uh,
fall over? I don't
what?
know. I didn't. A She-Hulk on the desk. I just did a video today, but
She's no fun.
I
She
guess
fell
she
right
toppled.
over.
Oh, here she is. This has got to be the weirdest She-Hulk action figure ever. Look at her legs. The way her legs are set
Holy
up.
crap.
It's like she can't stand upright. It's like
It's warped.
it's,
That is a
it's
strange
crazy.
commentary on She-Hulk.
Yeah. This is a Toy Biz figure, I think, or I think
Yeah.
it's
Looks like a toy
Biz,
busy.
but it's the weirdest figure. Weird figure.
There comes the jokes about it. You know if you should.
Yeah, I know. I opened up a can of worms.
Can of worm ass.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, that was cool though. I'm glad you showed those.
Yeah.
Anything else you got to show?
No, that's
More you know,
that's
more
it.
to show.
Just a quickie. I'm sure you want to
Yeah.
get on out of
we
here.
got everything done tonight. We got everything done we need to get done. Well, by the way, congratulations on your video. Everyone put your link to your video that you released today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I already had my buddy one of my friends emailed me. He's like, "Damn you, Mark." He's like, "I just went to Hobby Lobby today." Like he saw the video and then he went to
Damn you.
Hobby Lobby. He bought a ton of
Enabling.
stuff.
Oh, almost forgot to close out the poll. All right, let's close out the poll first, folks. Everybody. Okay, now we're gonna announce the winner in this exciting race. The question was, which of these 4 classic Superman artists do you like best? And of course, 46 votes. In first place, I can't believe it. He was in last place for a long time. Unbelievable. The co-creator. Some justice for the Joe Shuster finally. Joe Shuster at 30% in first place wins today. Steve will be happy because he was sad when he was in last place. I'm not kidding, for the first hour and a half, he was almost over an hour. He was way in last place. Crazy. Then in second place, the great Jose Luis Garcia Lopez at 26%. And my vote, if I got a vote, is numbered third place. I'm sad about that. The great Kurt Swan at 21%. This is an outrage. And he's tied with the great Neil Adams at 21%. An outrage, I say. What is wrong with you people? But Steve, he's Lieutenant Steve had to run, but I'll tell him the good news next time I talk to him. He would be happy because he was really, he kept making the point that, without Joe Shuster, there's nobody else to draw Superman, which is true, but that wasn't the
question. Doesn't mean you have to like him the best, though. Yeah,
I know, but still.
He's a great Superman artist too. In addition to being the creator, I mean, look at Bob Kane's art is pretty subpar in my opinion. But not great. I should say subpar, but not
I
like a lot of
sub-drivel.
Yeah.
Some crapper. So anyway, you got that? Any other show notes for you before I should do my show notes?
No, I guess everyone, I'll post the link if you didn't catch my enabling video today. I'm going to Hobby Lobby and spending some money on some cool genre stuff. I'll post that in a second. And Toxic Tuesday, Wayne's World.
Yeah,
next
party time. Excellent. Wayne's World. Maybe I'll watch that tonight. Okay. All right, everybody. We'll see here. Wednesday. Okay, tomorrow night I'll be on, of course, with the Tom and the Midnight's Edge After Dark crew with the great Tom Connors and that august body. I'll be on 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then, let's see here. Wednesday night on Loki's Comic Book Roundtable on his channel, great channel. And then on my channel, I've got with Superman month all month here in Clobberin Times. And I'm going to talk about Soups and Dupes, the other guys. Look at the best Superman stand-ins, the 2 best, Supreme, not the Rob Leftfield crap version, of course, the Alan Moore version, and Samaritan Kurt Busiek's Astro City Superman prototype or copy, if you will. I mean that in the best sense of the word. Then, of course, Thursday night, the Clubhouse will be in session after the 6:30. After at 6 o'clock when I'm on with Tom and the gang there again as well on Thursday night. We'll have the Clubhouse, and then Friday night on our great our buddy Dadman's channel. I will be on there with him, and we'll be talking at early 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking some Super Bowl, and then 8:30 Central on Nick's, our good buddy Nick's channel, reviewing the Infinity Gauntlet with Nick and that great gang of the Friday Night Comic Shop. And then, of course, Saturday Night Star Trek, beginning season 5 of Deep Space Nine with 4 more episodes. That is 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Same Trek time, same Clobby channel. And I'll, of course, hang out, as always, on the Geek Read, 10 p.m. Eastern on Sunday night. And then...
Super Bowl night, I guess, right? Yeah.
Oh, may have to push that back. Who knows if I can be there. We'll see what happens with how you schedule it. So let me know.
Yeah,
but,
maybe I'll start later. Yep.
Indeedishness. And then next Monday, folks, a double feature. The great J-Man and I at 6 p.m. Central for a special time are going to take another trip back to Earth B. Bob Haney, we're going to review Brave and the Bold number 150, a wacky world of Bob Haney presentation on Mark C. Comics Talk special during Superman month. And then I'll come back later at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and my great buddy Carlos of Comics Mania will join me to review the Alan Moore Dave Gibbons masterpiece For the Man Who Has Everything from Superman Annual number 11, 1985. A great comic. Hey, the lovely Sherry. Good to see you, my dear. Always good to see your beautiful face. Look at that beautiful girl. Good to see you, dear. I hope you are doing well. You've cheered me up. That's for sure. And so, everybody, thank you so much again for being here with us tonight to kick off Superman month and the voting in the poll and all that kind of stuff. I do appreciate you hanging out with us. Shout out, of course, to the great wrenches, as I always do. Eric K., Chris Persia, D. Bud Martin, Lord Thoth, J-Man, Hungry Boy, Kal-El, Maddie's Daddy, and Phantom Outsidra. And everybody, of course, big shout out and thanks to the great Mark D with a C for joining us. And everybody, thank you all. Have a great week. And hey, see you back here on the streams.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. There we go.